here with Chris Keatley with Pupmaster Academy. Chris, would you like to tell everybody kind of your background? How did you get into training dogs?
So in general, I've pretty much grown up with animals my entire life. I grew up here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and my parents actually have raised dogs longer than they've raised children. And I used to grow up raising hamsters and birds and all that stuff for local pet stores and all that. Then as I grew up, my parents run 2 local pet stores. So I've been around it my whole life, but then kind of seeing the need for the help of dogs in the community, I actually ended up going to a dog training school in Austin, Texas. And now I run Pupmaster Academy to kind of help out all the local dogs.
That's awesome. So did you get into it mostly because you see a retention? I know we've talked about this in the previous conversation, but the retention problem with...
So for me, the major thing that made me want to focus on puppies and everything is the most common age that dogs get rehomed is 7 to 15 months. And that's where we deal with the retention issue here, all the large number of dogs in shelters, so for me it was a matter of figuring out how to be able to help dogs be successful in their homes from the very beginning. Because to me that's how we're ever going to address empty shelters, is making where dogs don't have to go there. Not that importing more dogs or people rotating through dogs is ever going to help that. It's more of how do you help those dogs be successful. But even what part of the family's business has been with, helping with the chews and the toys and all that stuff to help dogs be good. But for me there was also that training aspect of getting where they don't jump on the gas, and having where the dog walks nicely with you. Having that dog that goes out and plays frisbee with you every Thursday is going to be a dog that's going to be more successful at homes.
Right. And then people want it, they grow attached to well-behaved dogs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you have that well-behaved puppy, it makes you more fun to have that relationship with your dog and do things with it.
Perfect. And what kind of services do you offer?
So now, here comes springtime, we'll probably be starting back up our group classes again. And that'll be kind of where it's me and 10 people and my other 2 trainers out there teaching a group of people how to get their dogs to behave in a group setting. Or we do more privatized training where we come over, work with you and your individual dog on your issues. So especially for a lot of the home manners and things like that, that works great for it. Or probably honestly my favorite one is the board and train, because that's where the dog comes with me for 2 to 3 weeks. Gets to live in my home, meet all my puppies, a lot of fun stuff, and then I get to take a dog and teach it all of the cool tricks and tasks and all that fun stuff, and then be able to get back in its home and be able to teach it how to do those stuff at home. And then from there the goal we will have group classes for the more advanced dogs to be able to start introducing them to a lot of the fun ways you can play with dogs.
And how long does the boarding training?
So typically it kind of depends. 2 weeks is typically going to be all of your on-leash obedience. Getting them to listen there, and obviously your home manners and stuff. With the 3 weeks is either if I have behavior modification ones that don't like people or don't like puppies or things like that. Those dogs will take a little bit more work. Or my favorite part, the 3 weeks is also what does the off-leash obedience. Which to me that's the fun part of having a dog in Wyoming and not New York, is being able to go play with them at the lake or go play with them at the park. So for me, I love working the off-leash stuff, but it's always a little more process, so that one takes a little more time.
Perfect. And if it's more one-on-one training, how long do you typically, and how many sessions a week?
So I do have a 3-pack of private lessons, which is typically 4 if we're just needing some basic skills. There's some few little things that we're working on. If you're kind of wanting that full transformation of puppy, my most common private lesson is a 6-pack private lesson. Most of the time we meet up once a week. That way I can kind of come over, work with you, work with the puppy, give you some things to work on that week, come back the next week and follow up.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to interview with us.
No problem at all.
Again, Chris Keatley with Pupmaster Academy. Awesome.